Let me tell you something about Narad. I mentioned last time very quickly, but here we have some description of Narad. Narad is basically a man divine, somebody who has conquered the immortal seeds, as we got here later on. One who has conquered the immortal seeds. 106.13. He who has conquered the immortal seeds came down to men on earth, the man divine. The man divine. He is somebody who was here, and by his tapasya, by his yoga, by his sadhana, he conquered the state of the immortals. And therefore he has a kind of a connection with what is here and what is there also, you see. That knowledge is there. In the Chandogya Upanishad, we have a great chapter about Narad. And Narad, as I said last time, approaches the Rishi Sanat Kumar for the knowledge of the eternal, Brahma Jnana. He goes and prays to Sanat Kumara, please give me the knowledge of the eternal. And then the Rishi asks him, all right, please let me know first what you know so far, what kind of things which you have got. And he gives you a long list of his achievements, his curricular vitae, or what you want to call it, you see, the whole biodata he presents. Well, this is what I have done here. And he says, Narad approaches Sant Kumar for the knowledge of the eternal, Brahma Jnana. He has already mastered several branches of knowledge, our worldly knowledge. The four Vedas, all the four Vedas he knows thoroughly. Four Vedas. He knows Itihasas, that is Ramayana, Mahabharata, he knows all of them already. It's in Puranas, he knows them. Then he knows grammar, worship of the departed souls. How you carry out the worship of those who have departed from this world. Pitra Jnana, as you call it. Yeah, he knows that thing. Then science of numbers, numerology, he knows that fully. Science of portents, when the bird flies, what does that mean? When this happens, what that mean? He knows the science of portent, omens, he knows already that thing. Then he knows the treasures which are present everywhere in this world, you see. Then chronology, the entire history which has gone so far in this creation. Of that he also knows that thing. Logic, ethics, science of gods, Brahma Vidya, Bhuta Vidya, that is of devils, of the lower creatures, demons, he knows about them also. Bhuta Vidya, physical sciences, spirits, fiends, all that he knows. Spirits, science of war, he is a master in warcraft, he knows that in war. Then science of stars, astronomy, he knows everything, you see, all that. Then science of serpents, how the creep, the these beings live here and grow and what they are here. He knows that thing. Celestial sciences, astronomy, he knows. Then fine arts, he has the knowledge of the fine arts, all sculpture, painting, music, Gandharva Lok, he has already seen that thing. Then he knows all that is present in this world, what is called the verbal text. He knows everything about that thing already. You see. He says, well, this is what I have learned. In fact, in the old traditions, we have got what I call 64 types of knowledge, 64 kalas, as we call them, skills. And he is master of all those 64 vidyas, Narad Rishi. He says, well, this is what I learned, but my problem is, I know the text. I read Savitri, I know the text, but I don't know what is really there behind the text. That knowledge I don't have. Well, I know what the Sankhya philosophy is, but how the Sankhya philosophy works, how it operates, how it is implemented, how it can be capitalized, utilized for any purpose, of that I have no knowledge at all. He says, therefore I know the verbal text, but I don't know what he calls the Paravidya, the way by which the higher knowledge is obtained, by which things can be worked out in full detail. And that can come to me only by the knowledge of the eternal, Brahma-jnana. If I have got that thing, then perhaps I will be able to know it. In other words, in order to get Brahma-jnana, the knowledge of the eternal, the purport of saying all this is essentially we must have a solid base of the worldly faculties here. If you want to build something of the higher nature, you can't simply say that I will go and live there and forget about that thing. No, you have to have a proper solid base to establish higher knowledge here. Therefore, I am ready. I have learned all the 64 arts, 64 faculties of knowledge, branches of knowledge. I am master of that. That is my base, but that is not sufficient. That doesn't satisfy me at all. I want something beyond that. That is required first. You have to go through the entire process of graduation before you receive Brahmajnana, the knowledge of the eternal. And therefore he goes and prays to Sanat Kumar, please give me Brahmajnana. And then one by one, the Rishi reveals to him the secrets of the eternal and tells him, actually, I will quickly just mention them. First he says, this is a book, this is a laptop, this is a tree. It means that I know names of the objects. But behind the name of the object, there is something. It is a quality which is present here. It is some kind of a character. Some entity is there, some kind of an individuality is there in each and every object. It is not just a name. This book and this book, they are all books, but still their quality is different. Each thing is a different thing altogether. So first thing is to go behind the name and see what that quality of that particular object is. Then speech, mind, will, intelligence, contemplation, then of course wisdom or vijnana, strength, bada, I must have strength also. Then he says anna, that is food, material. Anna, apas, water, tejas, fire. He is now going through the cycle of all the Sankhya descriptions. Matter, gross matter. Then apas, that is water. Then tejas, that is agni, fire. And then akash, ether. So all these things he reveals now, what is this, what is this, what is this, what is the property, and how he can assimilate that thing into soul. And then memory, aspiration, prana, that is life, and behind that all truth. So he describes, Sanat Kumar describes to Narad the 16 levels of knowledge by which you can climb up. And it is with that knowledge that you really live in the infinite, in the happiness of the infinite. That is the real achievement of knowledge. To be, even in the finite, you live the way the infinite would live in the finite. That is the real happiness. And that is what now Narad gives him. So he has already acquired this knowledge from Sanat Kumar. He starts with the gross physical, then water is there, then Agni is there, Tejas is there, then Vayu, wind, air is there, Akash. He has already acquired that knowledge of the 5 elements of the gross physical type here, and beyond that then, of course, he has a pure spiritual stuff, spiritual substance in him. That is what he has acquired here. So when he is now coming down, it is with that knowledge Narad is coming down by the reverse process of materialization. This is the process of, in a way you can call, desubstantiation. The gross is become less and less and less and less till it become pure spiritual. Now, while he is coming down, it is the reverse process by which he is coming here. So this is what we have got. And while Narad is coming down from this world, from his paradise, passing through all these regions, first he sees the cosmic being at his task. What we had here, the inconscient self and the somnambulist force, what we had here, the inconscient self and the somnambulist, so that is what is below here. But behind that is the cosmic being, Virata Purusha, as we would call. It is he. What is he doing? What is his work? What is the purpose of his being there? And what does he want to achieve in the cosmic dimensions here? This is what Narada is observing. And he sees that one of the things, the cosmic being, in fact, he's going to describe that thing shortly. And he says, he saw the eternal labor of the gods. He sees the cosmic being and the eternal labor of the gods. This is important. The Virata Purusha and what the gods are striving for in this creation. That is what he sees. Obviously, gods are the one who will guide, lead, help you to grow in the direction of the divine. That is the labor. They have undertaken that labor on them, and they are constantly at work with that, you see. And then, and saw the eternal labor of the gods, and looked upon the life of beasts and men. So Narad has come all the way up to the point of mental being. From pranamaya, from the vital being, he has come to the manomaya, that is the mental being, from beasts and men. And then while he is coming and seeing the cosmic being at his task and the way the gods are laboring to carry on the evolution further, he sees that something else is required. He is now going to sing 5 songs, as I said last time. The first song is a change felt upon the singer's mood. Now this line, as I told you last time, is what we have in the 50 edition, but obviously this felt is wrong, it is fell. A change fell upon the singer's mood. Now, there are people who say that this line is metrically limping. It is short of half a foot. A change felt upon the singer's mood means felt is a half foot. It is not a full foot at all. So what Amal has done is he has changed this line in all the subsequent editions of Savitri to a change now fell upon the singer's mood. It has become here a felt has become now fell. Amal Kiran. Yeah, well, we don't know. It's not there. Yeah. So, in all the subsequent editions, you see that it is now fell. Felt I can understand, but now is an intrusion. Whether it really exists in the manuscripts or not, of that no knowledge to me. So I would simply go a change fell upon the thing. And it's not a bad rhythm also. You see, it has its own charm of that shortness. If Shebundu wanted to make it limping, let it be limping. That's right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that itself becomes a full syllable. You see. A rapture and a pathos moved his voice. He sang. So the first song he's singing is the song of ignorance and fate. That is the first song Narada is singing while he's coming down from his home. The second song is he sang the name of Vishnu and birth. Now, this is important again. You see, the ignorance and fate we have understood in the cosmic world. Name of Vishnu. He says name. He doesn't simply say Vishnu. He says name and birth. Name, it means it gives a quality, a character, a definiteness of object. See, if somebody is without a name, I don't know whether it really conveys anything at all, you see. So, a name has a very, in fact, in one of his letters, Shevendra says, name is total power. Name is total power, quality, character, by which we try to sum up a designating sound. In name, everything is summed up in the form of a sound. when you say rose, well, it is not any rose. It means something very specific. The whole quality of rose is summed up in that word rose and in that sound. In that, any flower, I mean, of course, you have got the famous thing of Shakespeare's, rose by any other name would smell as sweet. It doesn't smell as sweet at all. Rose is rose. If I call the thing jasmine, no, it don't smell, you see, as sweet, you see. It has to be that, you see. It has to be rose is rose. So Shakespeare says, of course, that is the romantic play, Romeo and Juliet, when Juliet is saying that, Romeo, if I call you by some other name, it should not matter. Because you are Romeo. Your quality is there. So it should not matter by what name I call you. That is how she is arguing. What is in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes. Whether you call him Romeo or not, that person is going to retain his sweetness, his perfection always with him. This is how she is arguing, you see. But of course, this is a kind of a rhetoric description of Romeo and Juliet. But name has a definite name. You see, I mean, when you are calling Vishnu or Vasudeva or whatever it means something. You can't call Vasudeva Shiva or Durga or by any other name. Each has its own power and capacity and strength in its own, and it is that which comes out into full manifestation. So therefore, Narada is singing in name. So he is giving all the 1,000 names of the Vishnu Sahasranam, 1,000 names of Vishnu. Each name has its own power, its own character. And when you are chanting those names, it means that you are really bringing out those aspects of Vishnu in manifestation. And therefore the birth, you see. And joy and passion in the mystic world, and a mute reason stirred. So that is the second song Narada is singing. And the third song is again, he sang in conscient self and his sacred self and its omnipotent power. Again the same repeating, you see, presence and power, self and power. They are working. And what are they doing? They are working towards things which will go, as he says in the last line, death that climbs immortality. In the context of inconscient self and the omnipotent power, it is death which is really ascending to immortality. That is the third song Narada is singing. It is death which will become immortal. In the sense that death will attain its true its true content, its true significance. And death that climbs immortality. So actually our process of growth is a process of growing towards immortality through death. And it is in that sense that Narada is kind of happy that death also is serving the purpose in the context of his Vishnu, his name. You see. Then the fourth song is, he sang of the truth that cries from night's blind deeps. Truth that cries from night's blind deeps. Truth. That is what we are saying in the depths of the inconscience. At the bottom of the void, it is the truth which is lying there. And it is that truth, that Satyavan, who is in the grip of death, who has to be rescued. And it is that cry which Narada is hearing and is singing in that context. And for what? And the consciousness that wakes in beasts and men. It is that truth which has come to the level of beasts and men. It is a cry of truth. As the death is ascending, the cry is also coming up to the point of beasts and men. And then the last song he sings is, he sang of the glory and marvel still to be born. Glory and marvel still to be born. That is the song he is singing now. Of the Godhead, etc., etc. And the transfiguration and ecstasy. Basically, the fifth song is the song of transfiguration and ecstasy. Yes, transformation. Up to beast and man it has come. Death is climbing to immortality. Now the transfiguration has to come. The joy, the ananda has to find itself in his creation also. Now, this is something important. He sang of bodies made divine and life made bliss. This is a very significant line in the sense that bodies made divine and life made bliss. This is specifically Sri Aurobindo Narad. This is Sri Aurobindo Narad. This is not the Narad of tradition or the Puranas or the ancient. Bodies made divine was not known to the tradition so far. Narad would not do that. But Sri Aurobindo has raised his Narad also now to a new level, new status. Bodies made divine. And of course, life made bliss. This is absolutely Sri Aurobindo's Narad, you see. Yeah.
Does it mean Sri Aurobindo has updated Narad's knowledge?
Sri Aurobindo has it?
Updated Narad's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Not only updated, he knows now. In every respect, he has updated, and he has now learned. Sri Aurobindo Narad has learned Greek philosophy, Greek mythology, centaurs, song, all those things you will see in the course of this canto. So he knows Greek, he knows Latin, he knows English poetry also. He has updated him, you see, of course, yeah. You know that, you see, yeah. Yeah, it's true. So, but anyway, in the context of the spiritual objective, this is what we have here. Body is made divine and life made bliss. Now, we can argue from two or three points of view. This is of course not the old Narad, it's very obvious. Now, whether body is made divine and life made bliss is Sri Aurobindo doing of Narad? Is he thrusting something of his on Narad? Sri Aurobindo. In other words, the concreteness of Narad in that sense would get little diminished. The purpose of, if Sri Aurobindo is pushing something on Narad like that, then the personality of Narad which is there, that will get to some extent diminished, diluted to a certain point, you see. I don't think it is that way he is updating. It could as well be that Narad, while he is in his home in paradise, he is not keeping quiet all the while. He is also constantly doing in his own way yoga sadhana. He is doing his own tapasya. And in the context of things which are around here, he has acquired that knowledge in the spiritual planes there. So it could be, in a certain sense, his own achievement also. And it is that which will really give a greater weight to Narad's coming here. Narad is not made a pretext by Sri Aurobindo to tell something. Narad is coming with that knowledge and with that power and with that force to deliver something. And it is because of that power and knowledge, it becomes meaningful, becomes concrete, becomes definite. So we could also say that Narad is doing his own tapasya in his own way elsewhere, and he has acquired that capability and he has become up to date. You can see that. You can see that. Because that is in a way natural also, kind of natural also. When the great yogis, the avatars come here, they do tapasya on the earth. The beings in the other worlds also receive the benefit of that tapasya. They also receive. In other words, also they receive that you see. And therefore, they feel happy to participate in the entire work of the avatar. In fact, it is in that context Narad is coming here, taking the trouble of coming here, you see. He wants to participate, he has received something from below. How? Well, by his intuition, by his own capacity to receive knowledge from whatever it be. And when the divine is present here in the physical, whatever he is doing, he will be immediately able to receive it as a part of knowledge and as a part of his growth also. So in a way, you can say that Narad is also making progress because of the presence of the avatar here. The whole cosmos, the whole world is making progress that way. See. So I would rather say that there is something more than just he knowing the latest sciences and mythologies and philosophies. Of course, that is there. He knows Greek philosophy, he knows Hegel, he knows all the Western scholars, philosophies, etymology, everything he knows, but that he has received in a different manner altogether. And therefore, this becomes the transfiguration and ecstasy. You see, body is made divine and life made bliss, and transfiguration and ecstasy, they are not the utterances of traditional Narad. This is the Narad who has grown in his own way here and has acquired that knowledge. And it is in the oneness of that knowledge he is coming here and speaking out.